Tuesday's tip from the workshop. Stringing up a guitar for the first time. This is the first time this guitar has been strung up. I have two tips I want to tell you concerning this. The first thing is, when I first string up a guitar, I call this stage one. And in stage one, I make the nut for it, make the saddle for it, string it up under string tension, and leave it. Then I'll come back in about 3 weeks, and during that 3 weeks I keep checking in on it and getting it back in tune. I'll play it a little bit. It'll be hard to play because the nut isn't dialed in, the truss rod isn't adjusted, the action height isn't adjusted. But I basically get the guitar under string tension and leave it. And it's one of the beauties of being a small guitar builder such as myself is I can work that into my schedule. During that 3 weeks, of course, I'm working on other projects, other guitars, and then I come back to it. Now, why would we do that? Because you get real excited and you want to get this thing done, and because it's taking a lot of work to get it this far, and so there's still some luthery chips inside the guitar. Couple of things. One thing is, emotionally, it allows you to slow down, stop, take a breather, and then come back and really focus in on the final fret work, leveling and crowning the frets, dialing in that nut and polishing it and getting it so it just looks beautiful, just finishing any kind of final buff on the finish, any little spot that needs to get chased down. Once you've gotten away from it and stopped that crazy momentum of finishing the guitar, it gives you a chance to really settle down and, I mean, really dial it in. But there's a more pragmatic reason than an emotional reason. Back in the days when I was doing a lot of fret work and doing repair work, and this is in the early 80s, we had a lot of brand new guitars come in that the necks were just crazy. And the frets weren't worn at all. The guitar was like a year old because the wood had not settled in yet. The wood had been pushed through the machines, came out of the other end looking like a guitar neck or a guitar body, and like all this was wood sitting on the shelf in my shop, in my storage area. Well, how long ago was that? About 5 months ago. It was just pieces of wood. So what's happening is the wood, even though it looks like a guitar, is not a guitar yet. And it takes a little time for it to settle in. The cells in the neck get crushed, truss rod pulling it in one direction, strings in the other direction, gives it a chance to settle in. The top pulls up a little bit because of the torque of the top. Some cells get stretched, some get crushed. Just the whole thing, the neck joint, everything settles in a little bit. And if you can give it 3 weeks, trying to dial it in, that moving target slows down and you can really get it dialed in. And in doing that, I've done this for many years, over 20 years, 30 years. I very, very rarely have someone come back and go, oh, it's buzzing on the 3rd fret on the 4th string, whatever. That doesn't happen because the guitar is stable when I do the final dialing in. So that's one tip. The other tip is, and just because I'm doing this myself right now, I thought of this. I have my little boxes of tools, little mini tools for doing the nut and fitting the nut and fitting the bridge pins and all that. But one thing that may be unique is I would recommend, when you've got the bridge glued to the top and it's time to drill through the bridge to put the bridge pins in, don't use a regular drill bit. Even if you take a piece of wood and clamp it from the back side and you drill with a regular bit, that bridge plate likes to break out. You have 6 holes in a straight line with tear out between all the holes. That's not good for a longevity of a bridge plate. So what I started doing, once again, a long time ago, so I'm telling you these tips, they have a track record to work very well. What I use is a step bit. Let's see. You see that? They're pretty common. And the piece of tape gives me a stop, how deep to drill it. Now, using a step bit, I can drill it and it doesn't blow out the bridge plate. It leaves the bridge plate intact. Then after I've gone through it with the step bit, I take a reamer. I don't use the hand reamer anymore. I took the handle off, and it has and I'll show you this too. I have a little reamer that fits the size of my bridge pins, and that has a stop on it so I don't go too far. But the tapering the hole for the pin is not a big deal. Keeping the holes from blowing out on the bottom side when you drill through it is a big deal. So, step bit. So 2 things. drilling out the holes for the bridge in the final stages just before stringing it up. And then Father Time. It's easy to walk away and leave it and come back later, and I think it'll help your instruments be better. So that's it. Be happy building guitars.